Russ, it's kind of nice to talk about baseball days at this stages of our lives, and I know you've got some special highlights as you look back. I think of you in terms of Selkirk, basically, where you were playing most of your baseball, I thought anyway.
Yes, there was no baseball in Clandeboy, where I lived, so I used to ride my bike into Selkirk, and I tried out for the juniors Selkirk team. Crutchy Morrison was our coach there, and they said okay, and so that's what I did for the junior years anyway, and I played for the seniors a little bit as well too.
How many years altogether really in the Selkirk area is, or roughly, you know?
Oh boy, 3, 4, I guess, playing ball.
Sure.
And then I left. Jimmy Skinner used to go to Flin Flon every year, pick up a baseball team or a softball team or whatever, and he invited me to go up to Flin Flon, and that's when I left the area, because up in the mines they were always looking for athletes. And
you worked in the mines up there?
I worked for the HBMNS, and I played baseball and hockey for the seniors, like the senior bombers. And,
sure.
They'd punch you a card for you, and then you could go play. It was kind of nice.
Russ, as you look back on your playing days, any special highlights that come to mind, things that stuck out?
Oh, I guess there's a couple really. After when I left Flin Flon, I joined the Mounted Police. I was eventually transferred to Toronto, and traveling by yourself, I always made a habit of going to the nearest ballpark or the rink, and if I felt I was good enough, I'd just walk up to the fence and say, I can play ball that good, can I try out? And I was fortunate to do that for a team called Mahar Shoes, who played in the Greater Toronto Senior League. And I played for 1 year, and then I was transferred to Sarnia and back, and I played another year, and we won the city championships both times, and I won the fastest base runner in Greater Toronto. So I love to run.
You were in a category with Kenny Lee Little then, if that's the case, as a speed merchant, eh?
I had trouble with Kenny hitting behind me. I had to keep out of his way. And then when I was transferred back here, I did the same thing. I went out I was going to try out for a team somewhere, so not being optimistic at that time, I said, well, who came last? And I went out and watched St. James, and I thought, that's silly. Why don't I find out who finished first last year? And I went out, and Doug McGee, I guess, and Terry Hines was there, and I said, I think I can play ball that good. Can I try out?
Sure.
Terry said, sure, go ahead. And they were losing an outfielder that year because they were a pretty set bunch from Rosedale.
Right. And
I caught on and had 5 great years there. We won the championship every year, I guess.
What does it mean to be a member of the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame, to be recognized by your colleagues?
Oh, that's pretty unbelievable, because while you're playing, you never think of things like that. That's somebody else does that. And when you're playing, you just want to know, was I thrown out at second, or did I get a couple of hits, or did we win? And then later to have somebody say, that's good enough to be in the Hall of Fame. I think, oh, that's amazing.
Kind of nice, yeah. Did you have any idols or any special team that you looked up to when you were a youngster?
My idols were all my older brothers. Before the war, there was a type of senior league out in the Clandeboy, Petersfield, Selkirk area. And some of my older brothers, one in particular, Bob, he could hit that thing out of sight. And that's how I learned to hit. We didn't have any equipment, so I would cut a tree out of the woodpile and go stand on the railroad track and hit stones. And whenever I hit a real good one, I'd say, there you go, Bob.
And who was your favorite team in the majors in those young days?
I guess, I didn't even listen to the radio. The only time I was aware of a senior team is when I was playing in Sarnia. A relative of Vic Wirtz lived
Cleveland Indians, yeah.
And Detroit.
Yeah, when he was in Detroit.
I think he was in Detroit that time.
Sure.
And he came out to the field one day and he said, Detroit's going to be in town, and they want you to bring your gloves and spikes and come and have a look. And I said, Thanks, but I got a career here. If I make it there, I'm riding the bus all over. So thanks anyway. So,
Sure.
and I didn't bother going. But after a while, I thought, no, that was pretty neat.
Russ, do you think baseball has changed in Manitoba over the years, and what do you think of it today?
You know, I haven't followed it, oddly enough. After leaving the game and trying to interest my children in various sports and following my grandchildren, I just got completely away from it. So I've learned more about baseball now watching on TV. I wish I knew as much then as I know now. I could have been stealing third all these years. I could have been sliding headfirst into second base, diving for field, balls, and all those things. You could have been so much better.
And they still don't have a team in Clandeboye?
Oh, poor Clandeboye. No, it's people grow up and leave Clandeboye. They don't. There's nothing there to.
But Selkirk is still a hotbed for most sports.
Yes, and I don't even know if they have a junior baseball team. I really don't.
You've had some good memories of your days on the diamond.
Oh, I can close my eyes and I can see balls disappearing over the fence, or diving over the fence to get a ball, or running the bases. And some of the tournaments I went with the boys that we just all met there were great times.
We've been talking to Russ Smith, a member of the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame.